and welcome to all. I am Harvey Aronson. I'm one of the founding resident teachers here at Dawn Mountain. My wife, Ann Klein, who's the other, is not here this morning. On Sundays, we do a very simple meditation, and we like to introduce what the purpose of meditation is, and then do two simple meditations. And so the question often comes up is, why should we meditate? And it's a great question. The way we understand the mind is that actually at a very, very deep level, the mind is clear, attentive, at peace, and wise. And traditionally, spiritual traditions, whether they were traditions of the Western religions or traditions of the Eastern religions, taught meditation to align the mind with that which is the deepest spiritual reality. And that is still practiced, and that is an aspect of why we practice meditation. It's really to align us with a very, very deep spiritual truth, the deepest nature of our own reality, the deepest nature of our mind, peacefulness, awareness, clarity. It's also the case that when we start practicing meditation, we don't arrive typically at peacefulness, clarity, and wisdom overnight. And people think they'll come to a meditation practice and that their minds should just become quiet. It usually doesn't occur. And in fact, what often does occur is that the minute we start clarifying the mind, we become aware that there is an awful lot of noise in there. And that's expectable. But what we are doing in cultivating the two forms of practice that we do is developing attention. And attention is an aspect of the mind that is present at the most outermost layers of our, call it monkey mind or chit-chat mind, to the deepest layers of our inner nature, and quality of attention or awareness. What many of us find when we cultivate awareness and attention is that we get a little bit of space in our daily lives that may give us just a bit of a chance not to be overwhelmed with our reactivity. So as we practice, the two practices we do that are very, very simple is the first is we will place our attention on our breath and then rest in the practice of breathing, in the process of breathing. Thoughts are going to be coming and going. Feelings may be coming and going. We're not getting sucked into them. And it's that not getting sucked into things that can serve us very, very well in our lives when we almost automatically always get sucked into things. And so we find if we have, through the practice of meditation, created a little bit of shock-absorbing capacity, we might not get immediately overwhelmed with, let's say, anger or sadness or irritation. And we might have a moment where we might think better of doing something or saying something. We might find that our reactions that before were 2 hours long, maybe they're now an hour and 45 minutes long. And if we keep practicing, maybe an hour long, and maybe then half an hour, maybe 15 minutes. Most people don't become, through the practice of meditation, just absence of reactivity. It just doesn't usually work that way. But the reactivity gets quicker. Our being absorbed in our emotional processes, moves faster. Technically, some people call it a process of decentering, meaning we don't get centered in our reactivity. And that, I think, gives us all a sense of greater freedom, a greater autonomy. The other practice that we do will be a practice of chanting that's drawn and inspired and taught to us by our Tibetan teacher, Adzom Rinpoche. It's a very, very simple practice of using a syllable, hung, that we recite twice. Hung, hung. And again, we are focusing our attention on the syllable. We're breathing, our minds, our attention are unifying into the sound. And if thoughts and feelings are occurring, their thoughts and feelings are occurring. If in either process of meditation we find that we get completely lost, and that also, of course, happens, we just bring our attention back. We might gently and internally say, distraction, distraction, just to sort of note that we've now returned to our attention. And then we resume the practice of either the mindfulness of the breathing that I'll teach shortly, or the chanting.